If you were in the legislature when Greg was, and when he took the lead on sort of rewriting sort of the PERS rules, would you have supported that effort?
I probably would have supported some effort to do something, but I can't say specifically. There were a lot of different alternatives that were out there, and we would have to go back and look at what all those alternatives
I just want to
were.
up or down. Would you support his effort?
I don't know.
You know, there's on the floor of the House, there's a red button and a green button. Things come at you, you have to make a decision, you have to vote, and at some point you got to be up or down on matters that are profoundly important to our state. And stabilizing the PERS system so that it provides good retirement benefits for our public employees, but at a cost the taxpayers can afford, was one of those watershed issues in our state. And you can't just waffle. You can't just say, oh, you know, you're there, you got a vote coming at you, you have to vote.
With all due respect, I think the PERS situation was like the government lighting a house on fire and then putting it out. I mean, the simple thing I would say is my goal would not have been to make irresponsible promises the government couldn't keep in the first place. And that's what having a strategic vision in government is all about, is avoiding creating problems. And that is what I think the hallmark of our government approach ought to be.
Well, a lot of your problems, though, are the legacy of decisions that have been made years, sometimes decades earlier. And that was what happened with the PERS issue. Is there were decisions made as long ago as back in the middle 70s and the early 80s that were like time bombs that had then finally kind of exploded on us at a time when we were in a deep recession. We had massive cuts to public services, major layoffs going on in our public employee workforce. We had to do something, and you have to respond to that. And to say, well, better not to have found yourself in that situation, sure, but there were people who had made bad decisions, and you have to step up in how you're going to respond today to those tough decisions.
The fact of the matter is, and the reason I would hesitate to support the specific proposal that the governor and Greg eventually settled on, is because it wound up being incredibly divisive. And I know that because my fiancée is a PERS recipient. And what she felt is that as a single mom, she stayed in her job for years and didn't change jobs, in part because even though she never got a raise, she thought, well, I've got great PERS benefits and this will work out for me and my son in the long term. And the way in which that process was handled was incredibly divisive and has left
John, I'm
huge
sorry,
amounts of
tough
anger.
decisions, tough issues are divisive. That's just the way they are.
Great leaders make decisions by building consensus, not by being divisive, Greg. And that's a fundamental difference in the approach we would have.
Sorry, we get back after.